Hello, world. Welcome to the 155th climate change emergency protest here in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It's a little windy outside today, so it might get a gust every now and then to wreck the video, but hopefully it will hold on. Today is November 25th, 2021. Next week will be number 156 climate change emergency protest. That will be December 3rd, 2021. Today is the number 155th, and this is November 25th, 2021. The COP26 conference on climate change ended a few weeks ago, and it was an absolute crime against humanity. It was a total failure. All the governments of the world were there. There were no binding agreements made, and it was just pledges. I pledged to do this by 2050, 2060, 2070, which is pure kicking the can down the road. That was our death sentence for the world, and now it's up to us to solve the problem. The corporations of the world, which probably won't happen, and the individuals who are falling asleep and will not wake up, probably won't happen. But, that's the purpose of these broadcasts, to make you aware that something terrible is happening and we need to get on it right away. This is a straight story, and I'm not going to pull any punches, so hang in there. The USA has pledged to have their emissions by 2030, cut them in half by 2030. Net zero, they call it, all that kind of stuff. Net zero, I'm going to plant trees while I still pollute. And then to have net zero altogether by 2050. They're not even attempting, there's certain administration who's in charge now, both parties, and one party's in charge of an entire government, aren't even attempting to begin to mitigate climate change or take actions or make the point known. In fact, they're going the opposite way. They just sold off 80 million, or leased out 80 million acres to oil and gas industry to do as they want as far as exploration goes, and pumping out more oil and gas, which is more black death coming out of the ground. The governments of the world cannot even admit there's a problem with getting off fossil fuels or stopping altogether. They're addicted, and they're addicted to the money and the power and everything that goes along with it, and getting reelected rather than thinking ahead for the citizens they're supposed to represent of the world. It's kind of like an alcoholic saying, I'm going to cut my drinking in half by 2030. I'll cut my drinking in half, and that'll be it. And then we'll work from there. And I'll get almost equal to getting off alcohol right away at 2030. But I'll have net zero, not half 2030s. Like, I'll be nice to a homeless person, then I could keep drinking, okay? So that's my net zero plan. So that's where they are. And right now in the United States, for example, today's Black Friday. That means a mass chaos of selling and buying at local stores. It's sales on. It's a chance to get more plastic in the environment and have endless growth continuing on until there's no more growth allowed by Mother Earth. So nationally and locally, is there any politician getting out in front of this issue? Are they talking about climate change? Are they talking about nature, emissions, carbon dioxide as being a threat against all life on Earth? This is existential, as Joe Biden once said when he was campaigning, who no longer says anything, but this is a thing that needs to be brought up daily. So what do you do? People need to stop acting like their politicians are their paternal mothers and fathers. Joe Biden and Donald Trump are not your daddy, okay? They're not going to solve your problems. You need to get up and make them do what you want rather than they doing what they want to do against you. It's time for people to grow up and admit there is a massive problem here now. 2022 is coming, and we're in for in the United States. If you look at the USA Drought Monitor, we're in for a devastating year if this keeps going this way. And it shows the whole country basically heading towards drought. It's a clamp on both sides of the country starting up, and the West is in severe problem, and that's where a massive part of the population is. So 2022 is coming, and we're in for trouble. By 2023, the whole world will see, though, that there's a massive problem going on, and they're going to wake up to climate change. That's only a year and a half from now. I think by halfway through this summer, coming up in 2022, we're going to see massive problems, and then the world will see massive problems within another year and a half after that. We do not want to feel the full brunt of climate change and what is coming. This is a simple case of connect the dots. If you look at it, it's linear. The whole progression or degression of everything going on is linear until it becomes exponential. So it's going exponential now. Many of the feedback loops and things going on, heat and drought and fires and things like that. We need to put pressure on local politicians for group ideas, to get together and have group ideas how to harden their towns and deal with climate change. They need to implement ideas, though, not just come up with ideas. They need to have ideas that they actually act on. And this includes mayors, council people in local towns, and county commissioners, things like that, whatever you have in your area. Climate change is coming for every town in the world and has arrived in many towns in the world. And failure to act on it is just ridiculous, and not acknowledging what's happening, or you're uninformed as to what's happening, and that's the purpose of these type of broadcasts that people have all the time. So we need forward-thinking local politicians and national politicians, planting trees, greenways, renewables, engage with that. We need entire towns to be involved, though, entire areas to be involved. No natural gas construction in the future. Anyone that's building a house cannot use natural gas. Tax breaks, maybe, incentives, awards for businesses that are doing the right thing and corporations, and not just pat on the back because they're virtue signaling. Need to work with local kids, high school and college kids, and get them involved. A community effort. Need to all the mayors and council people and commissioners need to explain why we're doing this, what the threat is. And you know what? If they get laughed at, they get laughed at. You can vote. They can be voted out in 2 years or 4 years, whatever. But right now, you need to do the right thing as far as concerning the children and friends and family and everything like that. We need electrical transport throughout towns in the United States. Europe is really good on that. Need to have paid electrical transport workers, such as people driving plug-in electric vehicles to transport around town. So you have satellite parking, and then if you want to come downtown, you have cars to pick you up immediately. So that would alleviate a lot of the gridlock in towns and things like that, and pollution and sickness. Over 10 million people around the world die per year from just pollution, the little particulates in the air, as you're seeing in India with coal burning. So 10 million a year, that's way more than coronavirus has been yet. So anyways, need to work on that. Unless a politician has one main concern, which is climate change, then they don't vote for them. Ignore them, go around them. If your party has no plan, leave it. If the party's doing evil things such as leases, drilling projects, environmental terrorism, which would be drilling projects in light of everything that's happening, genocide, which if they participated in the COP26, that was genocide. They are engaging in that by their lack of action and, in fact, perpetuating fossil fuels. There were 550 delegates at the COP26 conference, climate change conference, 500 delegates that were associated with the fossil fuel industry. Why would you invite them to your conference when you're trying to end the fossil fuels? These things are ludicrous. So basically, they're just lobbyists. So, if your politicians are locked into fossil fuels and getting money from lobbyists, then don't vote for them. Leave that party, make your anger known as to what's happening. So I'd like to reiterate, based on the present conditions and drought going on in the United States, there's going to be a massive issue coming this year for the United States, especially in the West, all the way up to the Mississippi River. By 2022, this will be the worst in U.S. history. It's shaping up to be as far as drought goes, and this feedback loops from that. By 2023, the world will be suffering catastrophic problems as far as climate change goes. And the world leaders, such as Biden and the other world leaders, the Chinese leader and everyone, need to make their nightly case as to why we need to take immediate action for climate change. People are totally unaware as to what's happening right now. And the only way around that is for the big daddy figures to get up on there and make their case known as to what's happening around the world. Need to call out the leaders of those parties need to call out those in the party and out of the party to join along or be ostracized concerning climate change. Make a fool out of them. Both parties and around the world also, there's usually two parties in each country. They need to be better. They need to be more worldly. They need to step out of party selfish attitudes and realize that this is all life on Earth depends on them making the correct decisions now. There is no more slack. There's no more wiggle room as to get around this issue. From the 1980s, we gave away weeks, days, months, years, decades of nothing happening. Not only inaction, but the opposite of action. You had massive drilling and there's no abating of the car issue in this country, at least. So both parties need to, in this country and around the world, need to get up to speed as to wake up to reality. The Republicans in this party can't be this stupid. They can't be that uncaring about ending all life on Earth. They have to care And you know they care because they're parents too, and brothers and sisters and everything like that. So it can't end in this with this calamitous catastrophe with no action and no one fighting, no one talking about it, no acknowledgement. I mean, I can't believe this is happening. That there's absolutely no talk about climate change. Yeah, they'll talk about coronavirus at get-togethers, but people won't talk about climate change at all. And this is going to become the real issue this year, and then severely by 2023, which is a year and a half from now. So I ask all of you to post on here what you're doing, what you plan to do about climate change, your daily thing, your weekly thing, what you're doing. In this video, just post at the bottom, what you're up to and what you plan on doing and what you're going to do. You can't sit back and let this happen. This is just ridiculous what's happening, and you'll turn off this video if you got this far, and then go back to your lives. And this climate change issue has to be a part of your life from now on. There's no getting around it. And if you care about anything and anyone, or even any little tiny life on Earth, you need to actually do something about it and quit sitting on your hands. So, let me know if you'll try. Let me know what you're doing, and I'll catch you next week. That'll be number 156. I'll be on December 3rd, 2021. Get out and protest. Do something. I'm going up to the climate change protest corner and do my bit. I'll see you later. Bye.